What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the mechanism of the spirit world. So this is I believe it's going to be the 98th video, right? And then we got two more videos. So the other two videos is going to be two selected poems that I've selected from my book. I've talked about in my previous videos. So we're going to have each poem as a video. So that will add up to the three videos. So yeah, we're talking about the mechanism of the spirit world. So the mechanism of the spirit world, you have to understand, is very similar to the physical world. It operates identical to the physical world, it's just in its own unique way. So for example, physical money, physical goods that we use to exchange as valuable um, as a valuable item to be able to conduct our businesses is the same thing as exchanging energy. If you have two people exchanging energy, it's no different than two people exchanging money because you're both gaining some form of value from that exchanging of energy, right? Or a physical, tangible, valuable object. So once you understand that, you understand the mechanism is what makes it different. But both aspects are very similar. So, for example, you have a physical ground, right, that you walk on, and that makes you feel grounded. That makes you feel, how would I explain it? Makes you feel stable. It makes you feel like you can rely on that solid ground. You know what I'm saying? You're not worried that it might be, there might be a sinkhole and you might sink, down. You have that trust that this concrete or this cement is very strong and durable. It's the same thing as having a mentality or having some form of energy or aura or just conviction of yourself. That is a form of solid ground. You know what I'm saying? That's a form of, in the astral realm, that's a form of concrete. Where you believe in something and you stand firm in that opinion or in that belief or in that vision or that perception. That's creating an actual physical ground, creating a physical architect, and you're residing in that mental architect. You know what I'm saying? In that architectural building that you have created as that mentality. So it's the same thing. Just like you can have physical weapons, you can also have psychic weapons, right? That is a form of weaponry, you know. Just like you have a physical gun that brings out a bullet, you can also have a certain type of mentality that is very sharp and very quick witted, and it can disarm your opponent in terms of intelligence. You know what I'm saying? There's so many ways you can disarm someone just based off your intelligence, the way you say something, the way you word it, the vibration that you put behind that word. That is a form of weaponry. You know what I'm saying? So not everything has to be physical and tangible. Even the way you create a certain perception for someone is a form of advanced weaponry. Without getting too um, deep into that, you also have certain leadership roles and rankings, right? Just like you have in the physical realm, certain people hold certain titles and rankings and things like that. You also have that in the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? So just like you have doctors who might be in charge of knowing how to do certain surgery, certain medications, and certain antidotes and things like that. You also have that within that world. Different frequencies and vibrations, which if you want to be spiritual, you might call it entities. If you want to be scientific, then you're going to call it certain frequencies. You know what I mean? Because when you're in certain frequencies, you're actually tapping into different certain entities. Certain entities run that frequency. Just like you have different vibrations, that's an entity and it runs that. So just like you're a walking frequency and vibration, that's also existing in the spirit world. So yeah, like I was saying, like you might have doctors in the physical, you also have that in the spirit. Certain entities, certain frequencies can go within your body and vibrate at a certain level and can instantly heal you. You know what I'm saying? That's why cats go into certain people and can sense what type of frequency and vibration you're on. For instance, like in the movie Predator, if you watch the original one, it wasn't seeing people based on the physical perception. It was seeing people based on its vibration and frequency. You know what I'm saying? Red and blue, masculine and feminine. That's what it's reading. So it's the same thing. Um, there are different type of frequencies and vibrations, different entities running that. You know what I'm saying? And once you know that, then you know, okay, there are certain ways to interact with that world and bring it down into the physical world, because that's what we do. Giving birth is a perfect example of bringing nothing into something, right? Because initially you had the idea of having a child, and then it took the process to bring that child into the physical world. Same thing with an idea. That's a form of a birth in the spirit world. So having an idea is giving birth in the spirit world. It's no different than you giving birth in the physical. That's why, like I said in my previous video, we're all walking thoughts and feelings, right? And um, the left, the northern hemisphere is the logical part, and then the right brain part, the southern hemisphere is the right brain, the subconscious. You know what I mean? So if you open your eyes, you see the light. If you close your eyes, you see the dark, right? So that's how it goes. Once you understand that, you realize, okay, it's just all about tapping into certain frequencies and vibrations. That's how you engage with certain entities, right? If you want to walk into certain rooms and certain opportunities, you need to meet certain people. It's no different. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in certain frequency and vibrations to meet certain type of um, beings, like same thing like that. That will be able to put you on the right path. You know what I'm saying? Some people might call them guardian angels. Some people might call them, ancestors. Some people might call them, your spirit guides. There's many ways you can call them. You know what I mean? So that's usually how it goes, right? Um, it's all about tapping into that, and that's why it's very important to be, tap into your creativity, because your creativity is what creates that portal and creates that world and that doorway for you to be able to enter, to be able to experience these type of things. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to know what you're tapping into. And usually you'll know based on the result you're getting. So if you're tapping into certain frequencies, you're gonna get certain results. So you're gonna be able to create that and show that. You'll be able to create your own type of piece of art, whatever creation you create, and be able to, people will be able to bear witness to that and realize, like, okay, this person has tapped into certain levels, of frequency, certain hierarchies and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important to know what level you're in and what level you're aspiring to be in, because you always want to expand yourself. So the best way to expand yourself is by experiencing, asking yourself certain questions, you know what I'm saying, and trying to solve that question. So never be afraid to ask questions, because that's the only way you're going to be able to reach the answer. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty much, like I said, certain frequencies, certain vibrations. That's a different location in the spirit world. Certain ideas you have, certain creativity, you'll reach it in that world, that geographical location in the spirit world, and you're talking to those beings and you're interacting and mingling with them, and they're like, okay, so how about this? You know what I mean? You get different ideas and different inspiration and things like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times when people are passionate, they're singing, they're praying, they're always closing their eyes, they're always going within themselves to find that answer, right? To find that world that they need to be in, to be able to tap into that frequency and vibration. You know, is the best way to do that. You know, even when you're dreaming, when you're sleeping, that's another way too that you can be in that world and you can be able to explore that world. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I was gonna say, yeah, too, whatever spiritual frequency you're in and whatever frequency and vibration you're in, that's what creates certain type of reality. You know what I'm saying? Physical, tangible realities. For example, based what creates minerals on this earth is actually creativity and excitement. So when you have a lot of masses in festive, in a festive vibration, like they're in a party, they're partying, they're in festivals, they're in the like they're just dancing. That's actually what creates minerals. That's actually what creates gold, silver, copper, and things like that. Because we are this physical body is only responding to our internal vibration. That's what either makes us sick or makes us feel empowered and makes us feel confident and have compassion in what we want to achieve. It's all based within our mind. You know, your mind is really what either is going to be able to lift your body up like Lazarus, or it's going to put your body down into a grave. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the internal vibration. So if you're in a certain frequency and if the masses is in a certain frequency and vibration, it actually creates more minerals on the earth. And that's what helps replenish also the ecosystem, because that also helps goes into like technology, goes into different architectural systems and things like that. Also goes into just helping the earth be flourish. You know what I'm saying? But that's what creates it. Certain vibrations. So the more the masses are in certain festive season, festive energy, it creates more minerals, it creates more creativity, it creates more um vibrant. Like it makes the earth more vibrant, because the earth, the physical, tangible earth that we have is only responding to our internal frequency. Um so that's also something that uh is very important to know. So it's very good to be in good festive energy. It's very good to be, upbeat, because that's also going to help you be in certain frequency to have different ideas to actually help you maneuver through certain difficult situations in life. You know what I'm saying? It's all about how you're vibrating and the way you're perceiving existence. Because if you have too many roadblocks within your mind, then it's also going to manifest in the physical, where you're going to be very stuck in situations and you won't know how to maneuver through that situation. So yeah, it's very important to, dance, express yourself, you know, because people talk about like, if you hear like story, like, even with like, if you see reptiles, right? Reptiles have, people talk about like a reptilian energy, but reptiles are very, um, they're very, how do I explain it? They move in waves, even like alligators, the way they move with their tails, they move in waves. Snakes, they move in waves, right? They move in vibrational energy. And that's why they need the sun a lot. They need the sun to keep their energy vibrant, keep them, it's like electricity. The sun is like their electricity. And the more sun they get, the more electrified they are to be able to maneuver, you know. That's why a lot of them might during winter time might stay within a hibernation. Yeah, they might hibernate during winter, but they come out during summertime because they need that sun. It's the same thing with us. We need also the sun too to energize us, to give us iron, to give us certain minerals within our blood. It's the same thing. So if the sun represents creativity and excitement and charismatic gifts, that's the same thing you want to be. The sun also gives, playful energy. So you have to be in that energy too to create more minerals onto this earth, right? Because it's the same thing. Vitamin just means vital minerals. So that's why it's called vitamins. So it's the same thing. Everything is connected. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. For the video, it's just all about learning certain things. Like for instance, the the characteristics of a bottle, it holds water, right? And water is what it gives life. So it's the same thing. If you're able to create like some experience where you're able to hold on to memories that you cherish, that's actually very beneficial to your life, that's some form of water that you've created in the spirit world to help you drink from, to give you inspiration into the physical world. You can drink from that water mentally and give you energy to be able to do whatever you need to do in your daily life, your daily task, whatever it is. You have that energy. You don't feel like deflated and things like that. So you want to create that mental water or that spiritual water and drink from that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I could elaborate, but I don't want to make the video too long. I still got two more videos left. So until next time, I'll catch you guys soon.